Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. In this episode, I bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly. Hello and welcome to the show. And if you must know, I just accidentally pressed the go live button early. My plan was to maybe go a couple of minutes earlier today, and I just don't ask me how, it just happened. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm catching a few of you a little bit unawares, but I'm going ever so slightly early today. Hello everyone in the chat, hope you're all doing well. Yes, shout out to Zolacon, which is happening today, and of course Skeletron and Brian Hickey, Total Toy Books, etc., are there this weekend. So yes, massive shout out to them. There will be a shout out to them, a proper one, in the show, including, of course, new Kickstarters as well. So anyway, there's that. This is episode 260, by the way, which isn't necessarily a milestone, just feels like a lot of episodes over the years. We are ever so closer now, 40 episodes to go before we hit 300. Trying to think of something special to do for 300. We'll see how that goes. 260, crazy pants. Anyway, not really a milestone, but it feels like a nice number, doesn't it? Nothing special going on in today's episode, of course, just the usual. We have comics news. I say that, but we do have a bit of movie news this week, so we're going to have a few different graphics going on for the movie news, positive or negative, maybe a bit of both. I don't know. We'll have to talk it out. We'll have to talk it through, won't we? Anyway, shout out to everyone in the chat. And then, of course, we've got a little bit of sort of like action figure news, including an ever so slight, tiny piece of classified news to talk about. Yeah, the silent episode, you could say, Scott. We could do that for 300, couldn't we? We should have done that for episode 21. I never, ever think of these things until way, way after the fact. Anyway, hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. I am already knackered because I've been shoveling snow again today. You might be thinking, Chris, what other snow did you have left to shovel? Well, I still had to do the pathways, which was still absolutely chock full of snow. Up to it was probably about, you can't see what I'm doing on screen, can you? Because my other hand's off the screen. But it was probably about, I don't know, a decent 12 inches, Kitty said. It was probably taller than that, actually. The amount I had to chop through today was actually probably up to my kind of just between my knees and my waist. So yeah, quite a lot today. And I pretty much did the neighbours as well. In any case, I'm exhausted, but I'm here anyway. And this banter's going on for far too long at the beginning of the episode. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hopefully this will help. I don't know if it will or not, or it will hinder, whatever you feel. It's up to you, isn't it, on how you take these episodes. Snowjob is my new code name, Hella Geek, indeed. So hello everybody in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Get your questions in whenever you need to, and I'll see if I can get to all of them. But we're going to start, of course, as we always do around about this time, with the comics news. Yes, we've got some Skybound bits and pieces this week, and if you're obviously following the Energon universe, then Void Rivals was out this past week, and of course the Harmer Files issue 2 popped out. Obviously this is I don't know, is it issue 2 as well, or issue 3? I don't know how many Harmer Files there have been released so far to the public. I think it is actually the second issue, and just so happens to be the second issue as well. Jedi Ben says Chris pulls his pants up to his armpits. That things that make you go, why did I do that? I don't remember doing that. Figure Six Pack says, "Oh nuts, I'm late." No, I am very early. You are not late. Do not worry. For those joining now, my apologies. I did go early on the episode today, so apologies all round. Yes, Void Rivals We've also got a Void Rivals preview for issue whatever it was, 28, I believe. A little what they called 2-page preview. So yeah, if you're keeping up to date with Void Rivals, then we'll be talking a little bit about that. We've got an amazing cover from Steve Beach for the Gears of Joe variant, Real American Hero 328, I want to say. Well, yeah, it's on the screen there, 328. And also, of course, a couple of cute little Compendium V2 updates. So Skybound, of course, they're doing their next phase, their next Compendium Kickstarter, which is actually live and happening right now. If you didn't get involved in the first time round, the Marvel issues 1 through 150, whatever it was, then you will be in a position 155. Then you will be happy to know that you can get in on it, and the later and of course the IDW era as well with this second compendium. So amazing stuff. But they've been dropping some like cute little bios here and there regarding I guess on the lead on the campaign trail. They're going to be dropping these quite regularly, Dawn and Cobra Commander so far, but we'll get to that in a second, won't we? Full Force Love, says David Allen. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate that very much. Have a heart back. Anyway, so let's get on to the first thing, which is New Comic Book Day, and Void Rivals issue 27 was out. Now, I realized when this popped up on New Comic Book Day that I was one issue behind. So I was really slacking at the back end. Yeah, so I have only just started reading these the last 2 issues. I haven't finished 27 yet, but they obviously were out. Now we're right in the middle of the Quintesson War at the moment, so obviously lots of Quintesson action, lots of Void Rival main characters, and then of course this kind of like subtle Transformers kind of storyline going on in the background, as well as a tiny little bit of Pythona every now and again. She's going to have a more prominent role, I believe. In fact, in this particular issue, I believe, that I haven't quite read yet, haven't finished yet. But the Quintessons gain the upper hand in the brutal war being waged on the sacred ring, Kitty said. If you're not following the Void Rivals, then you'll have no idea what I'm talking about. But could Pythona, of all people, hold the key to victory? So I'm excited because Pythona is going to be holding a key to victory. And maybe it's a key that answers all of our questions rather than the gem. But there she is on the cover as well, of these kind of like really cool, interesting split covers that they've been doing for the cover A's, which I believe are by Lorenzo Di Felici, who's doing those particular covers where there's like, it's like split, but there's this very like, it's not like an even split. It's like a almost like 3/4 of the page and then another quarter of the page, isn't it? And I may be even being generous there in terms of breaking it down into quarters, but very interesting. And of course, we get Pythona on the cover and a Royal Guard in the background too, which is awesome. Now, as well as New Comic Book Day this week, we also got a little preview of 28, which is around the corner. I actually don't know when this is coming out, but I do know when it's coming out. March 25th is when it's coming out. I just had to keep looking at all the images, didn't I? Now, again, if you're not following the Void Rivals kind of storyline, they're right in the middle of a massive battle with the Quintessons. You could call it a war even. And like I said, Pythona is showing up on occasion, but the pages that they are showing for this particular issue are very much Void Rivals focused and right in the middle of the battle. As you can see, there is a little Quintesson ship there wedged into the planet, wedged into the sacred ring, Kitty said. And so, yeah, like if you, like I, have been enjoying Void Rivals and the Energon universe as a whole, Kitty said, then yeah, you'll be fully aware about what's going on and very much enjoying it, I would imagine. I don't think you'd be reading it if you weren't enjoying it. That's probably a stupid thing to say. Anyway, a couple of pages there, just again in the middle of the battle, and unless you're following it, there's not really much they're giving away here other than there's a fight going on. Now, covers wise, Like I said, we've got the Lorenzo Di Felici cover A, which again is that sort of like quarter split kind of like cover, which I find really interesting, but also really cool at the same time. Cover B, which is Andre Bressan and Adriano Lucas, which again has Sharktacons and basically characters from Void Rivals going at it. Darak, and I forget the name of the other guy, but they are in the middle of that battle. They were just actually on that page there as well. It's almost like a recreation of that panel, that cover, isn't it? Very, very nice indeed. Ben Oliver is still doing these really cool, like, kind of like, I'll call them like passport photo pictures of the actual main characters. This is a really interesting character. And again, I forget the name escapes me. It's one of those things where I'm the worst for this. As soon as I've read a comic, even if I've been really invested in it, when I move on to the next thing and read the next thing or whatever, all of the information goes out of my head. I rely so heavily on recaps, video recaps at the beginning of like shows where like if I'm not binging a show like one episode after the next, it is quite likely that I will have forgotten everything that just happened in the previous episode. So it does always, like, the recaps, weirdly enough, I think are designed for me. But also it's nice to get a little kind of, written recap at the beginning of the comics just to kind of, get me back into it. In any case, really cool character, and a great shot and a great image there by Ben Oliver, who does some beautiful covers, I've got to say. My favorite cover of all of them, though, has to be Lyrix Lee, who has done that beautiful Pythona cover. Again, any Pythona cover I'm here for. And any inkling of a Pythona in there, and I need that cover. But this is an absolute banger. I say that as well, not even kidding. She's literally by my side on the table, like, all the time. This is one of probably, if not my favorite classified figure so far. And there've been so many absolute bangers, including the latest figures, which are by my side here, which I'm yet to go get stuck into. But here's Big Lob, Mole Rat, Hit and Run, Night Viper, and Lifeline, which are just kind of hanging out here, ready for me to get into them, Kitty said. But again, Pythona for me is just one of those figures that I just get so much joy out of. And I just, they did such a great job. And the funny thing is, like, I know we talk about, what they could do to improve this and improve that. It's not a fetish, I would say, Huntress. Well, actually, it might be. No, kidding. But like, how we talk about like the Hydra Viper could have done with that extra hand or maybe two extra hands. I think with Pythona, she got all those accessories, and I think the only thing she's missing is long nails only. Just like, when she cuts open the wall at the Terradrome, like, I feel like that's the only thing she's missing. Yes, she's got the long nails that have got the acid drips from them. The only thing I would say about that figure and that set is quite literally just another hand that has long nails extended. That's it. And just the one as well, because she only really shows off one in the in that particular scene. She does, obviously, I think she grows them both hands when she's fighting Jinx, but at the same time, like, one would have been fine. I'd have been cool with that. And Hella Geek is waiting for me to say the classic terms, sticky clam. I still can't believe we got sticky clam in there. That is, I still feel like I've forced them to make every single item. I'm not even that fussed that we don't have a mini BET in one of the clams, right? Because I genuinely think that would have been, it's not necessary. Like, and anyway, that little BET sort of thing in the show is like, the clam is like a holographic sort of like acts as like a holographic communicator or showing them a holographic element. So, I'm not that fussed that we didn't get that, but I do think the long nails one hand would have been absolutely spot on. Anyway, beautiful cover by Lyrix Lee. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I love it. Then we also have cover E by Cliff Rathburn, which again is actually Solila this time, and another character fighting Sharktacons. And the Connor Hughes cover F, which is this Invincible Month variant, which they're going to be doing. has, of course, Invincible characters, a character from the show Invincible on this particular one. And I like this one. This one's really cool. The main cover. I forget the character's name. I actually do watch and have watched most of Invincible and quite enjoy it. But I can't recall what his bloody name is. Omni-Man. But obviously, isn't this like there's some things have changed, and I haven't quite caught up with the newest season. So I know some elements have changed. So it might not be a Omni-Man. I'm not quite sure. You'll have to correct me in the comments if it's not. But effectively, an invincible character there floating in the distance, and then they've done that sort of like it's not the same as the Lorenzo Di Felice cover kind of situation, but they've done another sort of like segment of the cover, like a percentage of the cover, which is like a zoom in on it, which is really cool. I love that a lot. But yeah, so the character on cover C, Ben, is the same character on cover E with his back to Solila. I just keep forgetting the name of them, but that is a Ben Oliver cover. And like I said, I've completely forgotten that character's name. But he's pretty hardcore. Right then, that's the Void Rivals info and news this week. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this. I'm actually excited to, when I'm finished this episode, rather than shoveling snow, which I'm finished doing now, I am excited to dig into issue 27 of Void Rivals. Thank you, Tac Tac. I appreciate this, buddy. It's a villain yet to be seen in the animated series of Invincible, Chris. It's Grand Regent Thrag. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. I appreciate that's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't know, I just ask you guys in the comments. So thank you very much for that. So that on cover E, was it? Cover F, the Connor Hughes cover, is Grand Regent Thrag. Anyway, next, New Comic Book Day continued this week with the G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero issue 2, the Harmer Files edition, which I believe is the second. I believe it's the second issue of the Harmer Files that they've done so far. Could be wrong on that one. It could be more, but they've definitely revealed more. I just can't remember exactly. What we've had so far. I feel like it's might be the third one. Anyway, this is the special 325th anniversary issue. That's not right. Oh, that's interesting. They put the wrong copy on this, and I didn't even notice. So they've done the Harmer Files edition, and then they've put the copy for 325, which is quite funny. This is actually the third release. Thank you, Jim. So this is the third issue they've done of the Harmer Files, and that's upset me now because it's not. Oh, it's the fourth, says PJ Hambo. I was way off. So is it third or fourth issue of the Harmer Files? Because they've had. I can't remember what was the first one. Like, David says third. Okay, there's some like mixed information coming out here. Either way, there have been a few releases so far. Let's just say 26, 151, and now this 21 was a tribute, not Harmer Files. Hang on, 26, 151. Now this 21 was a tribute, not a Harmer Files. Got it. Thank you, Jim. So 26, 151, and issue 2. Brilliant. The funny thing is, I have all of those issues. I just forget everything. David says 49. Was there another? But like I know there's been others that have been revealed, but as in released is the word I'm talking about. Literally in hand is what I'm talking about. So I know that we've obviously got more to come with the Harmer Files, and some of those have been revealed in the solicits. But I'm talking about actual in hand issues. In any case, by the by, there you go. That was available today. Get stuck in. Now, with the Harmer Files, we do know that it is a situation where you have the reprint of the original issue, and then a little section at the back where Larry goes into a little bit of detail about the issue and the creation of the issue, and throws in a few little anecdotes about said issue. I think people have been digging these sort of like reissues. And to be honest, I would also like to point out that I really am looking for with these kind of reissues of these kind of issues, something more along the lines of breaking down each page rather than showing you the comic, literally having like almost like notes, maybe like after one page there's a page of like information, like sketches and notes and anecdotes and stuff like that. That would be really kind of, I would love that, so you can kind of like follow along, see certain things pointed out, and just go like, that's how I would love to see these sort of issues done. Now I like, obviously, having a little section at the back, just kind of explaining new elements that we may not have had before, new information and what have you. That's all cool, don't get me wrong. I would love that sort of extra breakdown of each one. I think that would be so much fun. And it's definitely better than just reissuing the same issue that we've had multiple times over the years. PJ, 26 in November, 152 in December, 49 in January, 2 in Feb. All right, so it is 4 issues. Thank you. Yes, you'd think I would prepare for these episodes, Huntress, but that would require me having extra time that I just don't have. Sometimes I like to rely on my own knowledge, which is not very vast, as you can tell, nor is my memory. And yeah, so it's easier to just sort of go, I don't know, what do you guys, you can Google this while I talk about it. In any case, New Comic Book Day got us Hammer Files. Yay. Now, Skybound have been dropping these very cool little bio pieces, kind of basically just stole the idea of how we do our redacted title cards. I'll be sending them a C&D, right? Turns out Chris is just crap. I guess you is this real, Huntress? Are you actually hating on me in a massive way right now? It's fine if you are. But anyway, yeah, we've got Dawn here with a little bio, tiny little bio of about her. And again, this is really just promotion for the Kickstarter, which is live currently. Link in not in our description, but on our Facebook and other pages all over the place. We've reshared and what have you. So they'll be highlighting some of our favorite Joes and Cobras. So where better to start with Dawn Moreno, aka the interim Snake Eyes ? Interim, Kitty said. Dawn made her debut in G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero 226. Really? I thought it was 224. But then again, I don't know anything, right, Huntress? Oh, I'm glad. I was genuinely, for a second there, I thought you were actually in there to have it out. And it's all, Kitty said, and it's all good. I'm glad that that's not the case. The legendary issue will be included in compendium sets 1 and 2, collecting over 300 issues in 8 massive hardcore volumes. Now, Dawn Moreno, codename Snake Eyes, affiliation G.I. Joe, and first appearance 226. I genuinely thought it was 224, but I'm way off. They are doing an issue 224 though, aren't they? Or was it 226? I should have prepared. Huntress was right. Huntress was right all along. Scott says, I'm the anti-Chris. I'd be preparing so much I'd never go live. Yeah, I just go in completely unawares. And of course, we also have Cobra Commander. So he made his debut, and guess what issue, guys? It's on the screen. Issue 1. Crazy Pants. That legendary issue will be included, etc., etc., etc. We know what's happening. Codename NA. Not applicable or not known. Like I probably would put in codename like classified, or what would I put? Steve, just for lols. Obviously affiliation Cobra and first appearance issue 1. But there you go. That is the Kickstarter updates for Skybound. I haven't checked where it's at the moment. Where is it at? Where be it at? Oh, it doesn't drop till March, does it? So this isn't the lead up to it. Of course, yeah, it doesn't actually come out for a while. I'm getting confused because obviously there is another Kickstarter going on at the moment, which I'll be talking about shortly. Is it last? I think this is last. Again, if I'd have prepared, I would know. This beautiful cover was revealed for issue 328. Steve Beach, Gears of War variant, showing obviously Roadblock on the, I would say, much maligned recon sled, which I'm going to say right now, I know this vehicle gets a lot of crap, right? I just feel like they could really do it justice in classified. They could definitely make it, you know, better in many, many ways. And I think we would end up with a really dope vehicle. That's all I'm going to say on that one. It's not. I've got loads more to say on it. And I think doing something along the lines of what we saw in the cartoon, what we've seen in the comics, even what we've seen in like commercials for this thing, I think would be amazing. Now, the figure, the original vehicle, is, you know, it has a lot of detractors, and for, you know, for good reason. There's a lot of shortcomings there. You know, like the front wheels situation is an absolute mess, isn't it? Basically, but I think they could do an absolute banger of a vehicle in classified for the recon sled, and you know, throw in some sort of cool character. You know, like how cool would it have been to get the recon sled in that 2-pack with the stealth pod? Now, don't get me wrong, that ferret in green is very nice. The varmint, it looks very nice in green, and it's going to go well with all the rest of the vehicles and what have you. But it would have been so cool to get a recon sled in a situation like that. I think if you're going to be paying what's, I don't know the price actually, but it's gonna be a lot, right? For 2 figures, 2 vehicles, multiple accessories. We haven't had that yet. We haven't had 2 mini vehicle sets. So yeah, I think this would have been perfect in a 2-pack, because again, it would have been something completely brand new. But I guess what's happening in that set is that there's a lot of sort of like cost saving going on. I don't know, but yeah, Hella Geek says I'm guessing $99. Yeah, I think probably will be 100, wouldn't it? A hundo, or close, in and around that, for sure. Anyway, I think I and seeing this cover basically by Steve Beach has just made me fall in love with this vehicle even more. I think I'm in love with the idea of the recon sled more than I'm in love with the actual recon sled. And this is not a fetish. So so yeah, I think or is it? I don't know. Depends what I do with it when it comes out, right? Yeah, it's gone way off. We've gone off the rails now, as I always do about this time. In any case, that is everything. I just wanted to shout out this beautiful cover by Steve Beach, and this is again like that. I have argued in the past that certain characters and certain vehicles don't really go together on some of the Gears of War cover, Gears of Joe variants, but even though I don't think I've ever seen, have I seen Roadblock on a recon sled? I think maybe there weren't anywhere else to begin with. No, I don't think there were any examples of Roadblock on the recon sled. I mean, there might be in some of the cartoon, but I have to say, I don't care that maybe these two aren't synonymous with each other. I think this is a beautiful cover. I think Roadblock looks dope. He's just pulled up and got the old friggin' Mardus out, and the recon sled is looking banging. So I'm down for this. Badwall says, is it possible you're a fan of it because you like the underdogs, Chris? The stuff people malign make you love them more. I don't know. I think it's a lot of it's down actually to me not having it as a kid. I didn't have the recon sled as a kid, so I didn't have that. I didn't have the exposure to it that a lot of kids did, that maybe they would have had a negative response to having that vehicle in hand, and therefore, you know, not really had any feelings for it in, you know, in later life. I think a lot of it is nostalgia based, but sometimes the nostalgia for me is that I see it in like a, you know, as a kid, I see it in like a toy catalog, or I see it in a commercial or something, cartoon but I don't have, you know, was never able to get it, didn't find it, wasn't able to buy it. So therefore, there's this kind of like weird compulsion that draws me to it, that makes me want it, you know, Kitty said, in classified or in, you know, in later years. I have since been able to purchase a recon sled. I think I have a loose one and a boxed one actually, back in the UK, but didn't, yeah, like I said, like not having that sort of OG nostalgia for it in the same way, but in a different way, having a different nostalgic feel for it in a different way. And the same goes for things like, so do you guys remember at the beginning of like Dino Riders VHS tapes, or any VHS tapes that had Tyco commercials at the beginning of them? It was so crazy, but they would have actual full commercial blocks of the action figures for Dino Riders on their VHS tapes and other sort of related VHS tapes. And I remember seeing the Pachycephalosaurus, bashing the rocks, the kids bashing the rocks with the toys on the thing. And I was like, oh God, I want that so bad. Did I ever see that in the UK? Not once. So, but I was absolutely obsessed with that particular toy because I couldn't get it, didn't have it. So I think there's a weird nostalgic compulsion that makes me like these things later on as well, because I never had that exposure as a kid, even though for the most part, the nostalgia usually works because you had it as a kid. But yeah, slightly different in this case. Right then, that's enough of that rant. How have I got something on my shirt already? I literally just put this on. Oh well. I don't even there's nothing for me to get on it. I don't know what happened there. Right then, that's it for comics. Only half an hour in. Let's get into the next bit of news. Now, we are shifting into movie news next, guys. So we get to use some movie news graphics, although slightly different in that I'm having to use our current movie news burst stuff, which is Transformers Joe crossover related. But I'm sure you won't care, right? Right? Bam, 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 ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Man, I make some bangers. Anyway, yes, as you can see, we've rocked the movie news burst graphs for this one, which is, of course, brought to us, presented by generalsjoesreborn.com. Hopefully, Justin and I will be talking about this next week, as soon as we can get together and do this, of course. We're talking about this, maybe some other bits and pieces, do a little movie updates, proper episode, of course. But for now, it's just me talking about it. So, a Hollywood Reporter, this is why we can't have nice things. The Hollywood Reporter has reported, as they often do, that Max Landis and Danny McBride have been hired to write 2 separate Joe movie treatments, which obviously is not completely, beyond the realms of craziness in the world of movies. We'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, the main talking point regarding this news is around Max Landis, who obviously his career imploded during the Me Too movement, where multiple people came out regarding his conduct. So again, this is one of those things where a lot of people have been kind of saying, well, it was a long time ago now, and he never went to court or whatever. Kind of doesn't change the fact that he actually came out and admitted to being a very poor partner in that sense. So, at the end of the day, we're dealing with a very problematic person here. Okay, that's the first thing out of the way. And I'm very much on, against, problematic people being involved in any of these things, in any of this stuff. I feel like it's, it's almost like rewarding if you leave it long enough to come back and still have, a place to do that sort of thing. But in any case, by the by, it's not up to me, is it? It's up to Paramount, and they have chosen to hire Max Landis for this particular GI Joe treatment. Now, in terms of the obviously the whole article by Hollywood Reporter, we posted it. You can go check it out. But the kind of interesting part for me about this is the Danny McBride angle, actually. So as I'm not going to go through the entire article because I've already mentioned the kind of the most heinous part of this. I'm going to go back to this one just so this is on screen the whole time. Now, I like the fact that Danny McBride is involved in at least one of these things. Doesn't mean everything's going to be comedic, but obviously it probably will have comedy in its in its angle. Now, one of the things they mentioned in the article was the fact that even though there are two treatments, separate treatments being created, what usually happens in these scenarios is that one of those treatments might overtake the other. They might be smashed together to create something, you know, different, or like a combination of both kind of like ideas. That's something that's been happening in Hollywood for millennia. So yeah, I it's going to be an interesting one, and I wonder actually if they've done this on purpose because of the problematic background of Max Landis. I wonder if they've done, like, they've thrown in a Danny McBride in there, and the fact that like, if it's a couple of treatments, we don't know which one they're going to go with necessarily, and if they mash them both together, you don't really know what. Do you know what I mean? So it almost feels like they're kind of like bulletproofing themselves a little bit, like, just, I don't know, it's like a safety net for them, like, to not get too much flack for this. But obviously it's been very it's been publicized already and reported on for the last couple of days now. So everyone's chimed in, haven't they? Let's face it. But at the end of the day, I'm interested in Danny McBride's kind of like angle here. And obviously, depending on what we get at the end of the day, we're not going to know what the success of these particular treatments are, and it'll come out afterwards, where we find out more information, if they're asking the right questions anyway, to find out like what was actually utilized, what was actually done, the process, and all that kind of jazz. But at the moment, currently, we are dealing with two different GI Joe movie treatments from scratch, and well, actually from Landis and McBride, and either they're going to smash them both together, or we'll see this thing where maybe one will take over the other, will like overtake the other in terms of like which one they would prefer doing. Okay, now where does that leave GI Joe Transformers, you may ask? No frigging clue, honestly, because it's gone really quiet in general about the movie kind of news, and I don't know if sometimes it's just a case of like, it depends how like Lorenzo de Bonaventura is feeling. Like, is he feeling in the mood to let's reboot GI Joe? Like, is he feeling that? I don't know, but we're gonna have to wait and find out on in terms of GI Joe Transformers. I personally think that they need to pick a lane, and they need to stay in that lane for at least through to fruition of one of these projects. I think obviously it's not a bad thing having multiple projects sort of in development to see what's kind of like got the most sort of interesting angle, what's got the most kind of like exciting sort of premise. Do they feel like after doing the Transformers GI Joe sort of writing, do they think like, oh, this is going to be really, what's the word? This is going to be really great. We should just do this, and then we scrap the rest of it. Like, that's probably what's going to happen in this particular case. This may come to nothing, just like many other stories we've had very previously in regards to the development of GI Joe, even Transformers movie news as well. Paul's made a good point here, actually, because I'm also aware of this, and I only mentioned the comedic angle of Danny because obviously he has a very strong comedic background. But yeah, he has more to him than just comedy writing. He does obviously Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills. He's done a lot of horror recently. Yeah, Paul, indeed, 100%. I'm interested to see what comes of this. I'm a little bit upset that we're gonna have to, we can never. It's one of those things, isn't it? There's always something that takes the edge off it a little bit, and in this case, it's hiring a problematic person in Max Landis, and that's really the bit that sticks and is a bit annoying. And then like 2 years down the line, when there's a GI Joe movie out, has everyone forgotten that? Probably. How it usually is. But again, like, I wonder how much he will actually be involved in this, and I would obviously prefer not a great deal of involvement, but again, I'm not making the decisions, and it is what it is. And like I said, this will be one of those situations where we will have more information as it goes along. The development obviously will be closely monitored as it has been, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more information regarding this. But at the moment, the big highlight information is that Max Landis is working on a Joe treatment, Danny McBride is working on a G.I. Joe treatment, and either they will be picked, one or the other, or they will be mashed together in some sort of G.I. Joe soup to create something on a bigger scale. And where does that leave G.I. Joe Transformers? Don't really know, but they didn't necessarily discount the Transformers G.I. Joe thing. They actually, it was mentioned in the article, but sort of like in a, also in development sort of situation. So, and also in passing. Yeah, there you go. Right then, that's it for the movie news. Why am I so exhausted talking about this kind of stuff? It's one of those things where, I want to come on here and I want to talk about fun, exciting things. I don't want to talk about the problematic elements of these things. Like, I don't want to do that. It's not fun. It's, I want to enjoy this hobby, and I want to enjoy what is produced from this hobby. And again, if it's great at the end of it, I guess great, but I'm not going to be forgetting the fact that we've got, someone like Max Landis involved. Anyway, moving on, because we'll be here for months kind of talking. I'll be talking myself around in circles, won't I? Let's get into action figure news, I guess. Yeah, or the standard news, not movie, not comic. Right then, I didn't change the graphics, so you're going to see that in real time now. I knew there was something I'd forget there. Anyway, Heroescape Battlecopter. Yes, so Heroescape, Renegade Game Studios. A little bit of Renegade Game Studios news. They just did yesterday, and of course continuing today, Renegade Con Virtual, which they did have a little Cobra Commander miniature painting kind of video on their Renegade Game Studios yesterday. And they have done reveals, but I didn't see any G.I. Joe reveals on their sort of like kind of like reveals and pre-orders parts of the show. So obviously until the entire thing is complete, I won't know. But they have posted one of their latest Heroescape bio and art scenarios, and that is of the Battlecopter, which is a fun little addition. It comes with a green shirt in this particular case, green shirts and Battlecopter, even though we know it's kind of ace, isn't it? But yeah, pretty fun. And there's such a random one to do as well in this particular game for Heroescape, but I'm here for it. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to really go into. You can go and check it out. Oh yes, Figure Six Pack says, is it Ace, Major Altitude, or an amalgam? It's a green shirt at the end of the day with Ace's helmet and Major Altitude's deco. But I suppose also a green shirt's deco, right? Anyway, but anyway, that is that for Renegade Game Studios and Heroescape. I will keep an eye, of course, on anything coming out of today as well. From Renegade Con Virtual, but I didn't see any new sort of reveals. I did check it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but no new pre-orders. Obviously, Heroescape is coming for G.I. Joe, so yeah, there you go. So that's it. That's all I need to talk about. Renegade Game Studios style, bit of a quick one, bit of a quickie, but they always are, aren't they? With RGS and the Heroescape stuff. So let's go on to the next bit of news. And that is the Order of the Crimson Moon coming soon. That rhymes. And of course, BBTS posted some images of their Order of the Crimson Moon figures. Again, just to keep people in the know, their pre-orders that are still available on the BBTS's site at the moment. And again, of course, why are we pointing it out? Because the figures, one, are freaking amazing, and two, have a lot of crossover with a beloved Palatoy IP in the Palatoy Action Force, with, of course, the red shadows and Baron Ironblood here. Well, not here, that's the Legionnaire, but he, of course, that particular figure, the Legionnaire figure, does come with the coal bucket helmet that we like to refer to it as. And that obviously allows you to sort of like kit bash with about 3 different figures, right? A Baron Ironblood. So, and of course, who could ignore the awesome hooded character on the right there? Yeah, some sort of hooded like Order of the Order of the Crimson Moon is what they're called. And I love this one as well. Very cool. I mean, these figures are great. I'm not going to lie. They look phenomenal. The fact that you can have, so many sort of like throwback designs from the kind of Palatoy era, sort of like to create your own sort of like red shadows is pretty amazing. Like classic red shadows is amazing. And I'm all for this one. I think it's bloody awesome. Anyway, boink. And of course, yeah, not to mention, I should mention as well, it's not just BBTS, of course, it's a Big Bad Workshop, their sort of toy arm, their toy design arm, along with Fresh Monkey Fiction and Gridiron Studios as well. And here we have the Noir Elite Guard and the Trooper. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to need a few of them troopers, guys. I'm not even lying. I really like these. Just as even if you took out the Palatoy aspect, right? The Palatoy design aspect, some of the figures just look so cool. I love the animal kind of like werewolf kind of vibe and the monster sort of vibe as well. Really liking these. And for the figures I've seen in hand from Fresh Monkey Fiction, Big Bad Workshop, etc., and of course Gridiron, very solid companies that do some pretty cool stuff. I was really impressed with the quality of the. I think it's like almost like the black version of that Trooper that I saw in hand, but absolutely gorgeous figure. So yeah, love these, and yeah, you can pre-order them at BBTS right now, including all the other ones as well that we talked about last week, or maybe the week before last. I can't remember. It's been longer than 4 minutes, so my brain has melted, of course. Excuse me. Oh, someone mentioned Battlecopters again. I knew I wanted a green shirt with battle. I never knew I wanted a green shirt with a Battlecopter in Classified until this moment, says Scott. Indeed, I'm talking about previously the Battlecopter in Heroescape. Anyone bringing Battlecopters into the line should be required to add a map tracker. Hell yes, bad. This also makes me realize how bad we need Classified Annihilators, says GL425. Indeed. So it's all obviously a little bit from the previous story, so I'm a bit late. Sorry, guys, in catching up on that one. And I think that's it. Now for the Dreadhead with Chopping Axe backpack, says Jojo Carl. Could you imagine? That'll be next on Heroescape for sure. But anyway, that's the Order of the Crimson Moon. Very into these figures, and I think they're very cool. And I love like looking at them and talking about these beautiful promo images as well, just in general, because it's great to see the sort of like spirit of Palatoy being, still alive, sort of thing. Very cool indeed. Right, that is everything from the Order of the Crimson Moon. I believe we have Classified next, but I never prepare. So how am I supposed to know, guys? Come on. Yeah, it's Classified, and it's all Legacy Special Forces in this particular chat part of the show, this particular Classified part of the show. So yes, obviously we found out a little while back that the Legacy Special Forces figure was going to be available between Toy Fair and Yojo June. Then more detailed information came out of when they were going to be in hand. And now it looks as though they're going to be available for pre-order in March, with Amazon listings showing up on Canada Amazon, but then also listings showing up for other Amazon-based sites as well. Amazon location-based areas, like, obviously US Amazon and so on and so forth. So they'll be coming soon, and they'll be dropping in March. We don't have an exact date yet, but I'm sure that will be communicated at some stage by BMAC, Hasbro, the G.I. Joe team, etc., etc. Now, the Legacy Special Forces, obviously, like I know that we kind of talked about this, obviously being in hand at a certain time last week, but now we've kind of got we're narrowing it down, and it looks like March is going to be another fun little month for us for a couple of pre-orders that we're expecting. Obviously, this one, and of course, the Dire Night Creeper Walmart exclusive, which should be going up either on the 12th or the 13th of March. I imagine the 12th of March for the Walmart Collector-Con. And I would also say that they'll probably do that week in advance reveal, sort of like the full reveal where they put the listing up there, but you can't actually order it yet. They did that last time, didn't they, for Collector-Con? So we'll probably have the promo images a week prior because of that posting, and we'll probably have like the information for the figure, all that kind of good stuff. I'm excited actually because I want to see the Night Creeper with the Night Creeper head on it. I want to see all the different promo images for the Night Creeper, and we'll be doing an episode on that for darn sure, because you know what I'm like with promo images, including these beauties. Now, obviously, we've seen these before. This was really just a visual aid while I talked us through the fact that we'll be seeing this particular figure for pre-order in March. Real Zim says the Dire Night Creeper has me worried about availability. Yeah, I mean, I would say just make sure you get in as early as you possibly can with that one. And whether that means like, you know, trying your hand on Walmart as well, because I know like obviously it will be that premium sort of limited quantities pulse situation first. I'm definitely trying it on there for sure. But I know what it's like with these things, and I could see that Walmart, you know, might be a necessity because they sell out fast on the kind of pulse situation. So anyway, it's always a worry when we're dealing with Walmart. I always worry, just in general. But I've been okay recently. But obviously, the amount of problems that people have in terms of like orders getting cancelled and what have you, no matter how early they get in on it, like I'm with you. I understand it sucks, but also I could see it with Walmart. I could see them showing up in stores, not like super plentifully, but like I could see, like, you know, enough figures showing up in stores for it not to be a problem. He says, knowing that it will be a problem. Anyway, it's like I never learn from my mistakes. My mistake. Like it's my problem. Like it's like I'm the problem that Walmart sucks in this scenario. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And the community's a good one. Like I feel like people look out for each other as well. Like if you've got a few kind of friends in the kind of community can kind of look out for you, that always helps. Especially people that are in like areas where they see like 20 of these figures in store somehow, and like I go to like 20 stores and see 0. It's just how it is, I guess, isn't it? Anyway, I did get Crystal Ball quite comfortably though, Bad Wolf, and that was a concern, but I managed to get Crystal Ball no issues, even picking one up for someone else as well. So I got, but again, one person's experience is not everyone's experience, is it? So I'm with you on that. There is definitely a concern. There's always a worry. There's always that comes along with that. But anyway, not to get everyone confused, by the way, we're talking about the Dire Night Creeper while I've got the Legacy Super Soldier, the Legacy Special Forces figure. Now, the Legacy Special Forces is going to be mainline. It's going to be available everywhere. There will be no problems getting hold of this one, guys. Have no worries. And I'm kind of glad about this one because I want to get a couple because, again, multiple display options for this particular figure. But yeah. Hunter says, yes, Chris, Hasbro screws with all of us just to spite you. Exactly, right? Super Trooper confirms, says Scott Skeen. Oh, could you imagine? That would be a fun mistake. That would be a slip of the tongue that I would genuinely just I'd be like, oh no, I've revealed it. No, like I can tell you full force, I have not heard of a Super Trooper coming, but I would be so excited. Like I wouldn't be able to poker face that one. Like Super Trooper for me is another one of those, like someone will come back in the comments and say the underdog.
but I am 100% a Super Trooper fan and would be all over Super Trooper as a classified figure. And like it, how like that has to happen at some point, doesn't it? Super Trooper, and it'd have to be chrome as well. They'd have to vac metal it. They'd have to. Anyway, forget that. Forget that. Yes, the G.I. Joe Call of Duty soldier. It does feel like that, G.I. Joe, Carl. It does. They need to make a legacy paramedic, says Figure Six Pack, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially considering we've got Lifeline now. I could see them like utilizing both Lifeline and Doc sort of parts and pieces and elements and creating like a paramedic. You know, I'm talking about accessories mainly, but yeah, doing some sort of like legacy modern military paramedic would be or not a military one, but yeah, like a first responder paramedic style would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, like we've got the you know, the firefighter and so on. But yeah. And yes, I do want rapid fire with the VHS Airborne's Customs, absolutely. But no, I would be more than happy in terms of ridiculous, you know, figures that would come in classified for it just to be Super Trooper, honestly. You know, rapid fire would be a great redeco, but a lot of people would probably kill me over that one. When will there be a Joe HasLab this year? Asks Yojo OC. Well, usually it's in and around Yojo June, at the end of Yojo June, going into SDCC is how they usually do it. So it's in that period of time around there that you usually get it. Sometimes they've launched like at SDCC. Sometimes they've launched prior to that. But yeah, that is usually when to expect a HasLab. I would assume a HasLab will come this year, guys. I wouldn't necessarily rule it out because of the made to order scenario. But we'll have to see, won't we? I haven't actually heard any information about it. No one's talking about it. No one's like revealed anything, I don't think, in some sort of like, you know, leak situation. But I would be surprised if we don't see that in June, obviously, or June or July. We need the legacy paramedic EMS followed by a legacy 911 operator with a big coffee and both donuts and pizza, says Bad Wolf. That's hilarious. Yes, I have dispatcher friends, and yes, that would be hilarious. I like that. That's funny. Huntress says, I want a legacy female nurse or paramedic to homage the action nurse. That's a good shout, actually. That is a really good shout. It'd be really cool to get another female figure in the legacy wave for sure. Airborne's Customs. My son is joining the army on Monday as a 68W. I don't know what that means. Combat medic with Airborne Ranger in his contract. Wow. That's crazy. Good luck to your son, Airborne Customs, on that one. And congratulations. That's really cool. Jojo Carl says, if we have doctors, then Dr. Biggles Jones. Good shout. Scott says, legacy snow rescue with the St. Bernard would be amazing. I would be all over snow rescue in some description, right? Especially with the whole snow thing they're doing. I would be really surprised if we don't see something like that. You know, considering it's, you know, a great opportunity to put like another troop builder of that sort of Arctic style. I'd be really surprised if we don't see something like that, honestly. But I would be really into, and I know I'm probably in the minority of this one, but if they were to do it legacy style, to copy the Doc sort of like crazy, ridiculous bright color rescue gear that he rocked in Pursuit of Cobra, Rise of Cobra, Pursuit of Cobra in that period, I would be all over that. That would be so cool in like the ridiculous colors. Obviously not Doc, but like a generic rescue trooper in the bright ass colors, jacket and pants and everything. That would be wicked. I'd be really, really into that. But I would expect them to probably do it more along the lines of, if they were to do some sort of snow trooper, it would probably be more generic and more white and, you know, digital camo sort of vibes, because, you know, that's sort of the whole vibe they're going with this whole Arctic kind of situation. But I would be really into them, you know, homaging that Doc figure, definitely. Right then. Legacy Classified Royal Canadian Mounted Police is my want. The red uniform says Classified Figure Guy. Wow, that would be so cool. With a horse as well. Be so dope. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much that for Legacy. There's more images, but I'll skim through them and get to this part, the Elite Listings element. 2026, of course. Now, no changes other than I did update from last week. I forgot to green out all of the pre-order stuff that we'd had, but I've done it now. So chill out, guys. I had like 10 people message me, this should be green, right? I'm like, yeah, I just forgot. I'm an idiot. Anyway, it's always good to be pointed out just how much of an idiot I am, which I know you guys do on a regular basis, and I appreciate you for it. Thank you all. But yes, we've got everything greened out that is that has had pre-orders already, and I imagine by the end of next month we'll have a few more greens on there as well. Of course, the Dire Night Creeper will have to be moved to the green section on the 12th. I think it's going to be the 12th. I don't think it'll be the 13th. Keeping me humble. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, what was the other one? The Legacy. Yeah, so yeah, Legacy Special Forces as well. That'll be green as well, hopefully soon. Right then, that is everything in terms of Elite Listings. No other updates, no unlocks, unfortunately. No changes to the name-only reveals. Iceberg, Deep Six, and Chabang remain the only current official name-onlys on the list. I have done a little bit of updating to the digital render section, though, and I've called it Digital Renders and Revealed Figures, and I've made extra little graphical elements, one to separate both Cobra and Joe, but then also to connect the ones that are 2-packs and 3-packs. I know, fancy, right? I've also included, obviously, I think I had this on the last episode, but the Prof Rock Claw and the Dire Night Creeper, not the digital renders, but the actual figure loadout images, which are very similar, obviously, just not as cool. But we don't have renders for those yet. So until we do, that's what we're looking at. And also no renders for the Varmint and Stealth Pod 2-pack yet, but that's a little ways off. So we'll probably be looking at these images of the actual figures and vehicles for a while. Cool flowchart, says Figure Six Pack. Thank you. I know it took me I was thinking, let's just make this a little bit cooler, a little bit more like, pro, a little bit sexier, and that's what I came up with. So you can argue between yourselves whether you think any of those things I just mentioned are covered in this particular image. That's up to you. But anyway, yeah, that is digital renders and revealed figures. That's everything. Now, the last thing, of course, is teasers, and we all know that Deep Six is in the background of that Hydro Viper promo image. Cannot wait to see that figure revealed. I'm expecting that Yojo June. I don't think they're going to reveal that one for a while yet, but I do think Yojo June is where we see Deep Six. And yeah. Airborne's Customer says Tony was supposed to post renders for Rockclaw and Dire Creeper, but he's been swamped lately. Let's all message Tony on Instagram and tell him to get those ruddy, what they're called, renders up so that Chris can update his graphic, please. Anyway, that's the only teaser currently. It's Deep Six. And yeah, there you go. Right, that's it for the news today. Well, let's get into shout-outs. There's still more news to actually talk about, but it's in shout-out. So let's do that. First, a message from our wonderful sponsor. Order your Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasure Editions today from TotalToyBooks.com in the UK and Europe, Skeletron.com in the US, and of course, Amazon for the rest of the universe. Walters World says, do you think that Deep Six looks big enough to be a deluxe, or do you think there'll be more with him? I will just shout, I'll say now, Walters World, yes, he will be big enough to be a deluxe, and he will come with more stuff as well, for absolute sure. The what you're seeing on that image, he is very far away, okay? But also he'll be chunky enough to be a deluxe, 100%. Trust me. I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. You can't trust me. Yeah, whatever. But in any case, yeah, he'll be chunky and big enough, and will come with more stuff for sure, for absolute sure. Huntress, here's a question for you, Chris. Can you shut up? Okay. Can I shut up? I don't understand that. Are there any indications of IG Baroness? Are there any indications of IG Baroness? Oh, I just get what you mean. Sorry, I don't get into that kind of like situation, but I get what you're saying. I'm not gonna get involved though, if that's what you're asking. Now, in terms of the other question, are there any indications of an IG Baroness? Not that I'm aware of, but that would be freaking awesome, and I would be all over that in a million seconds. Yeah, no, I'd be all over that immediately. Not in a million seconds, because that'd be ages. I'd be all over that really quickly. Not take forever getting into it. Yeah, IG Baroness. No, yeah, nothing in terms of like. No, I haven't heard any inkling of that one. But that does not mean anything. Just because I haven't heard that it exists does not mean that it doesn't exist in some way, shape, or form. I just haven't heard about it. You can do with that what you will. Oh, one thing I want to mention while I'm here that I just forgot earlier, and it's got nothing to do with the Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasure Editions, but I mentioned this is Mole Rat Stage 2. I mentioned on the last episode of the weekly, that there was a Mole Rat version 1 file card. I couldn't have been more wrong about that, because there wasn't a version 1 Mole Rat file card. I had just dreamt it. And I think mainly what had happened was, because we got the version 2 file card, and it looked like, I was speaking to Mark, was in the comments at the time. Actually, I think this actually might have been during that news burst for the file cards, in actual fact, where Mark was in the comments. But in any case, I had stated there had been a version 1 file card. There hadn't been, not publicly anyway. And also I dreamt it completely. And I think the main thing was, I'd looked at the version 2 file card and just assumed that they'd added the version 2 image and added the little bit about stage 2. But no, that doesn't never happened. So the one that came out was the one. So just to kind of clean up that one, and I have just reposted on Instagram. Shout out to, can't even remember. Hang on, bear with me. Yeah, so I reposted on Instagram all of the file cards, courtesy of Classified Figure Guy. That's classified_figure_guy on Instagram, who has kind of basically compiled all of the current and previous file cards in one place. And that is also thank you very much for doing that, Classified Figure Guy. And shout out. So if you want to know and want to see all of the file cards that have been released so far, you can go check that out on Instagram. Again, classified_figure_guy on Instagram. Cool. Massive shout out. There he is in the chat. No worries. And thank you for compiling them in a nice, easy way. I appreciate it very much. Anyway, the My Palatoy Story Kickstarter, this is for the 60th anniversary expanded edition, is now live as of today. Got my pledge in. There's an early bird pledge. If you signed up for the mailing list to get notified, there is a link in there for another tier as well. So that's really cool. So go check that out right now. Go pledge. Let's get that one over the line. Brian and Total Toy Books and Skeletron are currently at Zolacon right now. So you can, if you're in the area of Pennsylvania, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, at the Valley Forge Casino, you can go and speak to Brian regarding his wonderful work on the Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasury Editions, on the current Kickstarter for the extended edition or expanded edition of My Palatoy Story. I will be getting Brian and Bob on for a special episode where we're going to talk a little bit about that expanded edition with the Action Man 60th anniversary that we're in at the moment currently. So we'll be doing that as well in the future, in the soon future. I've just got to wait for Brian to fly back, of course, from his jolly at Zolacon. So like I said, if you're there and you got the opportunity, go check out Zolacon. Yeah, it's running until March 1st as well, so it's a decent length of time. Yeah, there you go. So it's tomorrow basically, because only 28 days in Feb, isn't it? Right. And of course, massive shout out to Articulated Points. Pat, who is my usual co-host, of course, in the past, hasn't been for a while, but Pat will be on a show very soon. We're just developing an O-ring special. I'll be talking, Kitty said, so I'll be talking with Pat and Adam Riches regarding a lot of the recent O-ring information and news, and everything from Operation Recall all the way through to Super 7 and Reaction Plus and all that kind of jazz. So we're going to be getting stuck into all the stuff that came out over Toy Fair as well. We'll be getting into. So it's just obviously availabilities, organization, and time. None of us have any of it anymore. But anyway, a massive shout out to both Phil and Pat. And also, they have posted a latest episode, which is a sort of follow-up to their previous Street Fighter episode, and again is another banger. Now, if you like getting in the weeds with lots of information, lots of cool unreleased information, bit of detective work, and some really cool images that again, you're gonna love this episode, by the way, guys. So check this one out, link in the description, and enjoy as much as you like. David says Street Fighter episode was great. Classified Figure Guy says their channel is so underrated, it's awesome. So true, very, very true. Go check it out, please, and thank you. And yeah, you may recognize the character silhouette, but there's a really big reveal in regards to unreleased toys that we might have had in and around the mid-90s. Right then, go check it out. Massive shout out as well to codenameiowa.com and Brian Sauer, who does all of our wonderful graphics. And in relation to that, yes, assembly required updates for the 2026 show, November 13th and 14th. It looks like it's going to be a space-related show. We knew that anyway, but it's nice to keep playing around with these little reveals. But again, when I say we know, I mean everybody knew who cares and is aware of assembly required, because they mentioned it, of course, at the last assembly required. But this is very exciting. I love the thought of a space-related show, and I am determined to make this show this year. I will make sure that this happens, guys. I apologize that I've been had to flake on it last year, but I am 100% trying to make it this year. Okay, cool. Anyway, that is pretty much that for that bit. Also, shout out to Skeletron, who are also at Zolacon at the moment, and they are doing $2 off a drink with a Retro Yeti purchase. So if you get a Retro Yeti, which again I believe I have, yes I do, I have a Retro Yeti right here. Do I get drinks vouchers even though I'm not there? Ben, asking for a friend. In fact, how many do I get for 2 Yetis? Huh? How many do I get for that? Shout out to the awesome Skeletron, to the wonderful Dietrich family, and of course Aaron, our fallen comrade, of course. Much love to your brother, as always. And if you're at the King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, go and check them out. You may already have done, and that's great. Let us know in the comments. Grizzlehorn says they had an awesome stand. Fantastic. Figure Six Pack says, are Lunatics and Manimals present as the show's merchandise in regards to assembly required? I'm sure those 2 particular elements will be utilized in the things that are offered at that show, because I mean, come on, why wouldn't they be? Anyway, anywho, go check it out. Zolacon sounds like an absolute blast. BBTS there as well, and they've got all of their like Order of the Crimson Moon figures out there. There's a video of it the other day, which is amazing. Anyway, that's it for the show, guys. For everyone at ZolaCon, I hope you're having a great time. Shout out to Skeletron, shout out to Brian Hickey, Total Toy Books. Go check out the Kickstarter. Shout out to Bob Breakin, of course. It's his book as well. It's all his work and Brian's design. So yes, go check out the expanded Kickstarter. Link in the description of this video right now. Total Toy Books expanded edition at Kickstarter. Click on it, pledge. Let's get that one done, because I want that so bad, guys. And it's the 60th anniversary of Action Man, so come on, let's do it. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone in the chat today, all of your questions, all of your interaction. I appreciate you very much, guys. And of course to our patrons, who I will see tomorrow for the Q&A. So thank you very much to everybody, all of you that support the channel, that watch, that comment, that say lovely things, that, you know, interact with me off the show as well. I appreciate you all very much. And also I will say, while we're here, we broke 12k on Facebook, which is amazing. So I really want to first of all say thank you to everyone who has followed the channel on all the different platforms. Very much appreciate it. But to hit 12k, I was blown away at. Like, for the longest time, I thought 10k on that platform would be like no chance. And the fact we're at 12k on that is nuts. So thank you very much for following us on Facebook. And all I would say to that is that on YouTube, I would love to hit 7k before the end of the year, because I think that is one that has been like stagnant. It's like it's hit like a brick wall in terms of our kind of, you know, a kind of like subscriber hits on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, I would very much appreciate it if you guys could do so anyway. If you watch on Facebook, that's fair enough, but if you could sub on YouTube, I would be very, very grateful. And even give us a like as well. I always appreciate it. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. Love you all. Stay fresh, cheese bags, as it says in that. And as always, after 3, you know what to do, I believe. You've probably been here long enough. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Scott Johnson interview to follow shortly as well. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.